On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the rumors that Meryl Streep will replace Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia in Episode 9. Maybe that's crazy. Maybe that's a good idea. We're going to break it down and give you our thoughts. We're also going to talk about the rumor that EA is making an open-world Star Wars game. Is this a last-ditch effort for them to save their Star Wars license? Should we care at all, or should we allow EA to burn in flames? We're also going to take an amino quiz live on the air. I didn't even tell James about this. We're going to test his knowledge in front of all of you, and we're going over a fan question about the Bendu. This is Nerds Talk Star Wars. Let's do this thing. And then the music comes in. What is up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with us here on a Sunday to talk about Star Wars. James, it's Easter, man. Do they even celebrate Easter up in the Great White North, known as
we do.
Canada?
We celebrate it in October, a couple months before you guys. We like to have it a little bit.
It's almost
no,
like...
we totally do, man. I just hit eggs. It was awesome.
Do you like hard-boiled eggs? Do you eat
I
hard-boiled
hunted eggs? I hunted.
You hunted them?
That's the only kind of egg I actually enjoy is a hard-boiled egg. I don't like scrambled. I don't like any other kind. Only hard-boiled.
That's interesting.
But I love like when you have the egg and you poke a hole and you empty it and then you paint it. That's what I love doing. Happy Easter.
Yeah, those are, I think they call those Ukrainian eggs, right? The eggs that you blow out the yolk and then you paint them or whatever? Yeah.
Oh, really? That's Ukrainian eggs?
Well, like, I'm Ukrainian, and we used to call them Ukrainian eggs and do them, so either I was lied to my whole life, and we just culturally appropriated that, or it's actually Ukrainian eggs. Either way,
I'm going to say you're probably right on both accounts.
Yeah, probably right. But anyways, we're gonna get right into this. Thanks so much for being here, James, and thanks for dealing with the first take that we did of this, which was totally screwed up by you. Anyways, let's get right into the first topic, guys. There are massive rumors out there on the internet that Meryl Streep is going to replace Carrie Fisher in Episode 9 to be Princess Leia. This has a lot of people experiencing a lot of different feelings. Now, I know my friend James over here hates Meryl Streep with a burning passion, and so I wanted to ask him what he thought about this. James, you said some really nasty stuff in our Facebook in our Facebook message. We won't repeat those for everybody, but what do you think of that overrated hag? I mean, of Meryl Streep taking over for Carrie Fisher in Episode 9. Do you think that's a good idea or not?
I think it's an April Fool's joke that happened a couple of days early is what I think.
Could be.
Here's the thing. If there's ever a way to get a Star Wars fan like me disinterested in the Last Jedi sequel, Episode 9, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Fuck no. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
We did a roundtable on the Rebels Come podcast a month before The Last Jedi was released in theaters. It was me, you, Brock, Rob, and Andrew Fantasia. And Andrew Fantasia, in that, he said I would like the idea of Meryl Streep is who we picked to replace Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia, General Leia in Episode 9.
Yeah.
Because if they had a story in place, he would rather their A story than their B story, which would be to rewrite it and not have it. Then The Last Jedi comes out, and we find out they don't have a fucking story. They're just making the shit up as they go along.
Right.
And if they're making it up as they go along, just get her out of there. Just, like, ease her out, put in a nice, whether it's in the crawl or some lines of dialogue, you can put her out respectfully, gracefully. You can even have a moment for her, which they promised us they do with Han, and then it's on the deleted scenes now.
I know, right?
And, so you could have that moment. To have Meryl Streep in it, look, Meryl Streep, arguably the greatest actress of all time, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. The minute she comes on screen, you're like, well, that's Meryl Streep.
Yeah, that's true. So a couple of different things I want to say. First of all, I think that there are story beats that they are trying to hit. I definitely agree with you, and this is another thing that like happened earlier in the week where Mark Hamill came out and was like, hey, they're just passing batons and everyone gets to play in the sandbox. That's definitely a thing. There's not an overarching vision for exactly how they're going to take this story, but I do believe that the plan was, and Carrie even kind of said this, right, that the plan was you've got Harrison in Episode 7, you've got Mark Hamill in Episode 8, barely. And then you've got in Episode 9 Leia, and I think that Leia was supposed to play a major part in this, and maybe it was only just like story beats or like a draft in that sense, but I think that is what was going on. I also think Meryl Streep has the ability to maybe disappear. Let me throw this at you. What if Meryl Streep comes in, but only to not have the death happen off screen, meaning like she's in there just the first couple of minutes of the movie, she's, you know, this and that happen, and then there's a tragedy and she passes, sacrificing herself maybe, and then maybe we do like shot some footage they had of Carrie sort of laying there and do like a funeral. I mean, what would you think of that?
Oh no, you can't have Fisher and Streep in the same movie as the same character. That would be really. What's that movie after Heath Ledger passed away that Gilliam did?
Oh
The,
yes.
yeah, you're like, what's going on? Look,
I love that movie too.
If they got Meryl Streep, like Anne Hathaway, Amy, whoever the hell they got, I'm just throwing out terrible names here to replace Leia. At first, you'd be distracted, but as the movie went on, you would forget about it, obviously, because if you are an actor, your job is to disappear in a role.
Correct.
Alden Ehrenreich, people pay attention. Like, you're not playing, you know what I mean? Like, she's not playing Carrie Fisher, she's playing General Leia.
Right.
I think at first it'd be like, oh my God, it's Meryl Streep. This is not Leia. But at the second scene, you'd be like, whatever, the movie's on. Superman's mustache. You know, you'd be into it, doing whatever you can. I just think there's a classier way to remove Leia from it all than just recast her with somebody for the sake of recasting. Now, we don't know what the story is, and The Last Jedi did not give us any hints.
Right.
But The Last Jedi did, and it's in the novelization, as you pointed out, gave an out for Leia with all the radiation and whatever she had in space, right? Like, there is a way to remove her from the story. The problem is Kylo Ren is the problem.
Right.
They're working towards something with Kylo. Now, we have our thoughts on how it could be Rey, and if I think you just add more to Rey in that.
Yeah.
Personally, I think Rey could be they could play the Leia role in whatever they're trying to do. Because the only reason Leia would have a huge role in 9 would be for Kylo Ren, for Ben Solo, right?
That's where my head goes. It's like, well, especially because considering that like he didn't kill her, and there's something to that, right? And
yeah.
So I do think that it could be valuable in a sense to have her there. I do tend to believe though that you just killing her off screen. It's kind of sucks. Like it
does.
We're in a position where we have no good options essentially because Carrie is gone. There are no good options. So they already said they're not going to CGI her in and make that like a Franken Carrie, and that's fine. When I first heard the Meryl Streep thing, I reacted. I actually covered it on the show on Friday on the Nerdy News Rundown, and I was like, no, that's my gut reaction. That's my thing. However, if she comes in and sort of disappears into the role, and if there was a need to have the character, if we watch the movie and we're like, oh crap, yeah, they definitely needed Leia for this. I don't see how they would have done it without him. Then yeah, I would be okay with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta see the movie, but my reaction is just
yeah.
No, honestly, it would. Look, I just think for me, you set this movie up a few years down the road, and you're just like tragically, and it could even be in the crawl. I mean, it would preferably not, but then you just give everyone a moment at the beginning of the movie, at some point in the movie,
right,
to reflect on Leia.
Right.
And you have a nice, peaceful moment. It's respectful to Fisher, respectful to the fans, the fan base who, it's a fan base that she went to the Star Wars celebrations. People saw them. She did her stand. She always talked about Star Wars. They did a nice in memoriam for her at Celebration. And then Mark Hamill did his where they played the same. They respected that. And I would like that not to be the end. Give her a nice little farewell in the actual movie itself and then move on. Because she wasn't like a secondary character.
Right.
This isn't like, oh, no, this person passed away who was in part of a movie. This is a huge part of...
Yeah, she's huge.
5 movies, right?
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree with you. I look, that's kind of where I land on it. And I tell you this, though, and this will be the last bit that we go over. Just considering all of the pressure that's on 9 and all of the backlash and everything, and do you think that like this announcement could just fuel that a little bit more? Like people will have even more of a reason to be like, "Yo, forget Episode 9. I'm not down."
Actually, so I'm glad you brought that up because as it was released, actually today or Friday, I was looking at a bunch of.
It's not Friday, videos, James.
A bunch of videos and articles, and. It's a certain point of view, People that hated The Last Jedi, I don't care. This trilogy's a wash, or this is the last straw. I'm done. It was all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
People who liked it were like, well, if it works. But no one was like, yeah, this has to be it, except for Andrew Fantasia. Everyone was like, yeah, this is the greatest thing ever. We did a should Leia be recast vote of no confidence on the channel in December.
Yeah.
And the vote of confidence is you argue two sides. So it's yes or no. She should be recast, yes or no. And I told the guys, you're not allowed to mention Meryl Streep. That was the rule that I had.
And did Andrew cry? Did Andrew go?
Andrew cry. Actually, they mentioned her to piss me off.
Oh,
but
wow, nice.
the reason I did though was because that's who everybody was talking about.
Right.
And it was just annoying me to the point of I don't give a crap. So I look, I don't want Meryl Streep to play Leia, but I mean that's selfish. It's not my movie. It's not my. I don't own. If I had $4 billion, maybe I could buy Star Wars and do what I wanted with it. But
hashtag not my Leia.
I have like $3 in my wallet right now.
Dude,
so
that's enough for a Starbucks drink. So you're on it. Well, guys, that's gonna do it.
No, it's not.
Well,
how cheap is Starbucks in where you are?
Well, you know what I do is I get. Look, I shouldn't even be saying this, but I just get the quad espresso, which is like around $3, and then I put water in it myself and make it Americano. So forget y'all. But
it's boiling hot water, right?
Yeah, that's how I wash my face too. So all right, guys. So that's gonna do it for our first topic of the day. What do you think about this Meryl Streep business? Do you agree with James that she's an overrated hack, or do you think that she should take over for Leia because she's one of the most brilliant actresses of our time? Do you think that they have an overarching plan? Do you think they have a plan, or do you think that their Star Wars is off the rails? And at this point, maybe Meryl Streep should act as Force Ghost Luke Skywalker. I don't know. Maybe that would be amazing. But let's get into our quiz. That's right, guys. We're doing a quiz. Now, look, I mentioned this at the beginning of the show. At least I think I did, because I don't know, because we took this a couple times. But Amino is now the official sponsor of Star Wars Sundays. They're helping us out here. It's awesome. I'm doing exclusive content on their app. And so one of my favorite things to do on Amino is take the quizzes. And that's what we're going to do right now. All right, so we're going to try this Anakin Skywalker quiz. James, are you ready? You got to be ready. You got to be ready.
Hayden Christensen. Christensen.
All right, here we go. How about this one? Why did Anakin join the dark side?
To save Padme?
Boom, shakalaka. To save Padme is correct. All right, one question correct. Here we go. Let's go on to number 2.
It got destroyed by Kylo and Rey. I haven't seen The Last Jedi.
How did Vader get his lightsaber? His red lightsaber.
Oh, he
stole it from a dead Jedi. Yeah, he had to kill a Jedi.
Yeah, he had to kill. Yeah,
right,
I can't remember those guys.
We got that one. We got that one correct. So here we go. Number 3, guys. Number 3. What happened to Anakin's more famous second lightsaber? James.
It was destroyed by Kylo and Rey.
Boom, baby. 3 in a row. We're rolling on this thing. All right, here we go. Next question. Who owned Annie and his mom in his early years? Who owned them?
Watto.
Boom, baby. We're on a roll here.
Annie.
We're on a roll. We are on a roll. Yeah. All right, next question.
Rolling.
Who was Anakin's apprentice?
Oh, Sokka.
Boom, Ahsoka Tano. Oh yeah.
That's more Padawan though, not as apprentice.
Yeah. I think they were wrong on that. Where was Vader's castle located, James?
Mustafar.
Oh my God, this is amazing. We are like 6 questions and we're crushing this quiz. Finally. Ooh, here's a good one. Who discovered Anakin first?
Who discovered him first?
Yeah, which Jedi discovered him?
Like Qui-Gon?
Qui-Gon Jinn, just in
You're
time.
saying like it was a trick question. I got nervous
for
a second.
It's not.
I was like, is there a legend or like an EU thing that
happened
here we
go. Wait, what happened to Anakin's mom?
She died by the Tusken Raids.
Oh, that is exactly right. Died by the Tusken Raids. I think we only have 2 more questions and we'll complete this quiz. All right, here we go. Ooh, what model TIE fighter did Vader fly?
Oh, I have no idea.
I'm going to say advanced. Ooh, TIE advanced, baby. We're on a roll. Wow, there's still more questions. What color did Anakin's first lightsaber have?
Is it?
It's blue, baby.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, cool.
They
We're
make you
nailing it.
second guess your
I know.
knowledge.
They do. All right, here we go. Next question. Where did Darth Vader die?
Death Star dose.
Boom! Oh my God, are we literally the most knowledgeable Star Wars YouTubers online?
Yeah, Star Wars Explained.
Yeah, come at me, bro.
What do you got on us?
In how many movies did Darth Vader have screen time? Ooh, this is tough, bro. I want to say it's 5.
What?
How many movies did he have screen time in?
Darth Vader?
Yeah, I guess
He
5.
had screen
And
time
got
of
it correct.
4.
No, it was 5, bro.
Oh, because Sith, yeah.
Yup. Was Darth Vader's true identity known across the galaxy, yes or no?
Well, that's tricky because in Bloodline, yes.
No.
But really, no. Like, it depends on what the timeline is.
No, yeah, it was only known by a few people, so bada boom, bada bing.
But in Bloodline,
James,
it came out to everybody, though.
James, we have 2 questions. What was the name of Vader's famous legion?
5, 0.
It's the Death Squadron. No, it was Vader's
Death Squadron.
Fist. Vader's Fist. That has to be a Legends question. I don't know.
Vader's Fist.
But-
I just
But
wasn't
let's see
thinking.
this.
It threw
Let's
me
see the
off.
results. Okay, so we scored 53 on that. We scored better than 52% of the players out there. Guys, if you like that quiz, go check out the quizzes on Amino. I love doing these quizzes and seeing how much knowledge I have compared to other Star Wars fans. It's really, really cool. Thanks to James for a little bit of help on that quiz. All right, let's get right into our next topic.
I'm the worst at quizzes.
Yeah, no, you did actually. You had some good answers there. So let's get into the next topic of the day. This all has to do with the rumor that EA is developing an open world Star Wars game. This was broke because GameStop discovered a job listing on their website talking about this game. So there have been a lot of rumors that EA is in danger of losing its Star Wars license, having that Star Wars license revoked. To me, this kind of feels like a last-ditch effort to create a game that the fans actually want and that would actually make a lot of people happy. So, James, what do you think about this? Do you think they're actually going to go through with this open-world game?
Well, they were already doing one, and then that went to poop.
Well, that was a visceral game, right? I don't think that was EA.
I thought it was also. Who cares? Here's what I'll say. It's totally a last-ditch effort, just like the last update on Battlefront, where everybody can play every hero, blah blah blah.
I know, right?
But why do I care if it's a last-ditch effort? Why do I care? It does not matter to me. It is totally one because the rumors came out that Disney was looking to go somewhere else for their Star Wars video games. So for me, let it be a last-ditch effort. If I get what I want, more good. Always have last-ditch efforts. Disney, keep threatening to leave them.
Right.
I think I don't. But the question is, will this game come out? We are 6 years into Disney owning Lucasfilm. We are 2 years removed from The Force Awakens, and we have had 2 Star Wars console video games.
I know. It's a tragedy, honestly. It's a tragedy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because the games are like such a good storytelling mechanism, and I think that they're... My personal opinion on this is that Disney sort of hurt themselves by wanting even the games to be canon, right?
Totally.
And so this really puts a lot of restrictions on what time periods they can play in, what stories they can tell, all sorts of different things. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they need to sort of lift that restriction or not. I'll say this, though. The idea of an open-world Star Wars game does get me excited, but I don't really want it developed by EA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not a hardcore gamer. I play video games. I'm not a hardcore gamer.
Yeah.
So, and I've liked the first 2 Battlefronts. I play them.
Right.
I know that's blasphemous to say.
I like them. I like them too.
But,
I play them. I bought the
play 'em.
first one when it was like you could pay $30 for everything, and that was a good investment. And then the next one I played a little bit of, and I have fallen off completely. I did like the story though. I thought the story was cool.
The story was really cool. Yeah, but you're right though about the shooting themselves in the foot. Everything's got to be canon. But at the same time, here's the problem: when everything's going to be canon, and then you're making your filmmakers make shit up as they go along, that does not work. Have a freaking plan. And if you don't have a plan, it's Star Wars. It's going to sell on Star Wars. So you know what? Here's a story of Jedi X on planet X somewhere over here that we don't really know about and never need to know about again. It's a canon story. All the fanboys are like, it's a canon story. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. It has no bearing on any of the other crap that we're going to read or watch, but we get to play it and it's a fun game, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. But they, for some reason, are like, everything's got to tie together. We have to know about Sindel, Project Sindel, and we have to know why Sidious was a clone, and we have to know why there were these. And I was like, I don't, you know what? That's great, but I don't care all the time.
Yeah.
At some point, I just want to play Pod Racer Revenge.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, there's also, and you know what's funny? The mobile Star Wars games have actually been pretty cool, and they don't care about canon. They're not telling canon stories. You know what I mean? And I think
fans don't care.
No, that's not necessarily true. Like they care.
They care. But I'm saying is, if you put a legend,
right?
But if you put a Legends banner on it, you're not gonna. Is what I mean. Like it's like this is Legends. I'll still play it. Dude, you know, that's what I mean.
No, I totally agree. I mean, look, the prospect of here's what I really want. Like, let's just fanboy out for a little bit here. Did you ever play the Old Republic, the MMO?
Yeah, briefly.
Yeah, so I love that game, but it was like, you know, the graphics were super toned down, you know what I mean? Like, the mechanics of the game were a little complex if you're not a hardcore gamer. And don't get me wrong, I dumped a ton of time into that game, and it's still going on. The cinematics for that game are amazing. BioWare is great. But I want a game that's more realistic. Like, imagine even close to the Battlefront graphics, but open world MMO. Like, you can create a character, create a race, you exist in a time period, and you're interacting with other people. You know, you can go on planets, go on little secret missions, a lot like World of Warcraft, but like in Star Wars. That would be so freaking hype. My concern would be even if they do like a version of that, like, are they going to be so restricted because of the canon thing that like you're only on like one backwater planet? You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I love video games. I love Star Wars, obviously. I feel like EA, to their credit, they have actually reached to the fan base a lot. They've spoken to the fan base. They have the most downvoted comments of all time on Reddit. But at least they're making an effort. And at the end of the day, if like they realize because of all the money that they've lost, and they realize that like they're in danger of losing that license, maybe they're actually going to shape up and start to develop a game that we'll actually care about. But how long does it take to make a game, man? You know what I mean? Like, they've just announced that listing. I don't expect to see that game for like 3 years.
Yep. Well, they rushed Battlefront, the first Battlefront. They said that they rushed it.
Right.
They said that they rushed the first one, and that took at least 2 years to make on a rushed game that people say is incomplete, right? So, like, these things should have been in the works 2 years ago at least. You know, they should have been Battlefront's coming out here, but then also because there was a rumor about that clone trooper game coming out, and there are rumors about all these other games coming out. Nothing has ever happened, and then we got Battlefront 2, which was nobody bought it, but had a really cool storyline, and it was fine. But where's the other stuff? Like, look, I like the first person shooters because I'm an arcade type of guy. You know, that's what I want to do. But like, I was just mentioning Andrew Fantasia before. He hates those games. He's not that kind of game. He wants to walk around and like do quests and math skills or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, he wants to do that and stuff like that. And where is that? You need that. I mean, mobile, fine, but like, put it on he needs a game to play to keep him interested in whatever. And maybe if that next game delivered, he might have been more interested in Battlefront 2 just because he was so impressed with what he already had. But instead, he has Battlefront 2 and he's like, meh.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird problem. I don't know, guys. Let's open it up to you guys. That's going to be our discussion on the EA game. I want an open world Star Wars game. I'm not super excited about the prospect of EA developing one. And at the end of the day, like, dude, this is a side of this whole Lucasfilm Star Wars thing, Disney, that is frustrating. Like, as James said, dude, like 6 years and we only have 2 games and they're not even good. Like, people don't necessarily even like them. They're great for casuals, but like, man, like, remember Shadows of the Empire? Like, remember Rogue Squadron? Like, remember the pod racing game on the Nintendo 64? Like, dude, let's go. Let's get some good games going on. But I want to know what everybody thinks about Star Wars games, about the EA rumors. Do you think EA should get their license revoked? Let me know your thoughts and more in the comment section below. Let's finish off this show with a fan question. I'm actually going to try to pull up who was the person that asked me this because it's a really cool question. James, this all has to do with the Bendu. This person,
the one in the middle.
The one in the middle. He wanted me to go into an explanation about what the Bendu is and his connection to the galaxy. I did a Top 5 Tuesdays where I put the Bendu as the #1 Force user in the galaxy. First of all, do you agree with that? And talk a little bit about what do you think the Bendu's role is in the Force?
Is the Bendu a Force user?
See, I would say, yeah, he is.
That's a tough one because, well, we don't know much about the Bendu, which is what makes them so cool. And I'm hoping we don't really see much more of them. I hope we see more of the Bendu, but we don't get more explained so much about the Bendu.
Yeah.
I didn't like the way the Bendu went out. That I thought was a cop out. But the Bendu himself was really cool. What the Bendu means to the galaxy is one in the middle. That's really interesting. What do you think?
Well,
I got to ponder this one.
So I personally think that the Bendu. I think the Bendu is like a very so he's like a version of the Loth Wolves, but the thing is he's cognitive, right? So like he actually thinks and stuff. So what I think is going on is like the Bendu is perhaps a being like, you know how Anakin and all of them, when they went into Mortis, that he had the opportunity to take the place of the father. Maybe the Bendu similarly as a being, as an alien, because I do think he is a creature and he's an alien, but I think he's a being, right? And so I think that somewhere along the line, he was maybe offered or allowed to take that position of being the one in the middle. And you know, we see this idea of like the prime Jedi and like what it truly means to be balanced within the Force. And I think that he's so balanced, right? And if you look at some of the things that, you know, he says and what he does in the episode where the Jedi rolls up on him, Kanan rolls up on him and he says, your presence here is like a violent storm, because that he's so out of balance. And so what's the ultimate balanced thing do? Well, it just sort of hides. You know what I mean? Like that was like sort of what Luke was doing, right? To try to become balanced, he literally just hides himself away and doesn't sort of act. And the third lesson, which was taken out of the movie, was that a Jedi never acts unless they can maintain balance. Part of the problem with what the Jedi had been doing was taking action and it had a bad or a negative effect, right? It does something that created an undesired flip-flop of power. And so the Bendu, I mean, think about this. The Bendu could even be something that was so strong on the dark side. I mean, we saw what he's able to do with the thunder, the lightning, and with Thrawn and all that. And, like, what if the Bendu is able to... He was like a dark side Force creature. Like in the same way that the Loth Wolves appear to be sort of a light side creature. And maybe he was on like a very destructive path, and then sort of discovers what true balance is and the power of true balance. But it's interesting because you hear those things about how Ahsoka learned from the Bendu as well, right?
Yeah.
So her learning from the Bendu and her sort of being more in the middle, and whatever happens with her at the end of Rebels with that staff and the white cloak, it could all have to do with the Bendu. I don't know. That's kind of my thought.
Yeah, totally. And I was just thinking the Bendu's ancient, which could tie him into like an Old Republic type thing. Not that I think it will, because I think we're going to get that in live action, and the Bendu's going to stick to animation for sure. But, you know, everyone wants the Sabine and Ahsoka spinoff, which is fine. And if that's what happens, awesome. But something with the Bendu present, either in the past or even with Ahsoka, would be kind of cool to see too. Learning more about him, because, you know, he's the one in the middle, the Bendu. And somehow, at some point in time, like you said, he learned the importance of both sides of the Force and not taking a side.
Right.
And, he's able to predict Thrawn's demise, essentially.
Yeah.
He can predict that. He can disappear at will. But he can still get shot down. So there's something to the Bendu that hopefully will be explained some more, and it'll be fun to watch.
For sure. And this question did come from Kaios Ronan, and I want to thank him for the question. He also asked, do you think we'll see more of the Bendu? So I think I'll just answer first. I think that depending upon what the next animated series is, you could definitely see the Bendu in there. I love how in the original Jedi Temple that it almost looks like the Bendu, like the wood and everything in there.
Yeah, totally.
And there could be a thing like there were creatures in the EU and the Rakata Empire and then the Yuuzhan Vong. There were these other aliens and creatures that had like a deep connection to the Force, and maybe the Bendu is just another example of that, and we could see another Bendu, somebody from his race, or we could see him again, especially if Ahsoka is the next series. What do you think, though? Do you think we're going to see more Bendu in the future?
I would like to. I think it'd be kind of cool if we saw him on like Dagobah with Yoda, but like,
yeah,
they don't, like, he's just there
Yeah.
And then he could still be there when Luke's there, but he does not acknowledge anything. And Yoda could even, it would be kind of cool. I would allow this if Yoda kind of got to learn more from him. And maybe that's how Yoda learned how to make lightning, right? Who knows? I don't think they'd go that far, but I think that'd be a cool way to do it. I'm down for more Bendu. Like I said, I didn't like the way he went out at the end of season 3, but every time he was in an episode, I was really happy and I really liked what he brought to it.
Yeah.
And I liked that he's like the George Lucas of Star Wars in the universe. You know what I mean? Like he's
totally.
like, I know everything. I'm, pretty much wise. I understand the Force. Come and get your knowledge.
Yeah, I love the character a lot. Definitely, just such a cool aspect of the Star Wars mythos. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
to have a character like that, and he did teach a lot to Kanan, helped him see again, like through the Force, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know what else, dude? Oh man, this just popped into my head. You know how Kanan sort of reemerges as a Loth Wolf?
Yeah.
What if a very powerful Force user in the past has now become the Bendu? What about that?
Oh, that's an interesting. Yeah, I could be down with that. That'd be kind of cool.
That could be so
cool. Many
cool.
avenues to explore. EA should do a game on it.
EA should do a open world game where you play as the Bendu, but the face is replaced with Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
That would be the way to go about it. All right, so that's going to do it for today's show, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on Easter Sunday. I hope you enjoyed the show. James, where can people find you on the interwebs if they enjoy the things that come out of your mouth parts?
You can find me at the Rebel Scum podcast, talking Star Wars all the time, or on my new channel, Digital Charcuterie, where I talk other movies, including Meryl Streep movies, which I do enjoy because she is arguably the greatest actress of all time. She
is indeed. I know. By the way, I'm wearing this really cool Jedi robe. It's like a rebel sort of robe, and you didn't even get to see the cool rebel thing on there.
Because, no, I can't. I'm wearing this.
Nice. Yeah, and you can't see that either. So, hey, look, we're always swagged out. We're always swagged out. I just wanted to bring that up because why the hell did I put this robe on if you didn't know it was cool? That's going to do it for today's show. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and nerdy day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.